Good evening, Flosstube. My name is Laura, aka the Gin Stitcher, here on Flosstube and also over on Instagram. Although don't hold me on Instagram, I'm really bad at posting pictures. It is the 17th of March, which if you're Irish is St Patrick's Day. If you come from Yorkshire like me, it means you're not that interested. I do live in the north of England, and I promised I was going to be better in 2024 at doing this filming, and I have lapsed already. So that was one New Year's resolution out of the window before we even started. I will tell you, however, I've had a finish, and I am ecstatic. I finally learned how to knit last year after Lord only knows of how many years of not having a clue. My mother tried to teach me, my grandma tried to teach me, and it was always a complete disaster. And when I learned how to spin yarn last summer, somebody went, well, if you're going to learn how to spin, you're going to have to learn how to knit. Apparently crochet, being able to crochet wasn't enough. You had to learn to knit as well. So I did. Don't ask me how. But apparently, at the ripe old age of 4-something, it became something I could figure out that I couldn't figure out when I was 12. So here we are. This is self-named the Insanity Shawl. It is 2 skeins of a yarn whose name I've forgotten, from a lady called Lottie Knits here in England. It is purples and greens, and as you can see, the colour sort of pools in the rows of the knitting. It is a triangle shawl where you add 4 stitches on the knit row and purl. Don't add any stitches on the purl row, so it gets bigger by 4 stitches every other row. And as you can see, it's quite long. The reason we called it the Insanity Shawl is the pattern itself is very simple. It is a knit row, a purl row, a lace row, a knit row, a purl row, and then there is a beading row. And you can just see them sparkling there. So every 8 rows there is a row of beads, and in that row of beads there is a bead every other stitch. Yes, I'm not joking. The beads came from Spellbound Beads in Birmingham, and they're Mayuki's size 8s, 1 purple, 1 green, and I used 4 tubes. Someone has estimated that's 4,000 beads. If you would like to count, you're welcome to. I'm not interested. For those that like these kind of statistics, it is sock weight yarn, 4-ply yarn, superwash merino, and knitted on 3.25mm circular needles. I will say I started with a 40cm, and by the end I was on 150cm circular needle. So, although it was knitted flat. So that is my finish for 2024 so far. Took me about 5 months, more or less, working on it every day. Some days I might have only put 1 backwards and forwards row in, but that was progress. And I wore this to my friend's wedding at the end of February. So it has been washed, it has been blocked, and it has been worn. No, there aren't any pictures. I don't do pictures. Okay, so that's my knitting. For those of you that saw my last video, you might have seen that I had started crocheting a blanket, a 12-pointed star blanket for my soon-to-be niece or nephew that is half cooked. And I had taken this blue variegated yarn, which is an acrylic and alpaca mix, just commercial yarn. I didn't like it, so I scrapped it. And I started a knitted blanket instead. And it is a corner to corner. So we are, it's all knit anyway, so there is no front and back technically. So that is where you start. You start with casting on 5 stitches, and then you add a stitch, 1 stitch every row, and you literally just knit backwards and forwards. It's knit 3, yarn over 1, knit to the end, turn it round, knit 3, yarn over, knit to the end. I mean, it couldn't be any simpler. And you get this nice square pattern. It's got a really nice neat edge on it. And when I decided how big it's going to be, you essentially just, to go back the other way and shrink it back down again, you knit 3, knit 2 together, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit to the end. So you're going to slowly but surely bring it back to a point. And we don't know if we're having a boy or a girl, but it's currently blue. If it turns out to be a girl, I'm going to put some purple border on it. So I'll probably crochet that on because it's easier to take on the plane. And I just crochet a sort of 3 or 4 inch border all the way around in something purple to make it a bit girlier. So that is that. That is a double knit. And again, I'm stitching it on a circular needle. It's a 100 centimetre circular needle in 4mm US size 6. So I don't like knitting. I think I found out what my problem was as a child when it came to learning how to knit, was that my mother was using the traditional great big long single knitting needle, and I couldn't deal with them under my armpits and all over the place. It was too much, and I just never got onto it. Whereas a crochet hook is this big and that's it, you know, you shove it in your handbag and off you go. So that is my yarn based project. So that is what I've been working on since you last saw me. Cross stitch. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I've worked on since you last saw me. Some of them are new starts. So some of these you've not seen before. But the first one is my stag. I've actually added quite a bit to this. So I've been working in the bottom corner, gone on to working on the diagonal now. It's not going to work, is it? And I've basically more or less finished off this diagonal. Each diagonal is 20 stitches wide, by the way. And I'm well and truly through the next one. Basically from there onwards it's just 939 all the way to the top, and we've more or less met up with the bit that I'd already done in the middle, to really start to see the pattern starting to come out. You can't really, it's not coming out on the camera very well, I'll be honest, but you can just about see the shading. So basically what it is all the way down both sides is there's trees in silhouette of 939. So then there's patches that are a slightly lighter blue, and when I say lighter blue I'm talking like 820, 823. We're not wildly different here. But as it comes to life it's really starting to show the silhouette, because I was concerned it wasn't going to show when I first started doing the dark blues. That is the colour palette. As you can see, I think it's pretty much every blue in the DMC range. It's a Tilton Crafts pattern, and I am stitching it 1/1 full cross on 32 count easy count. Still my favourite. I worked on it a lot in January and a bit of February, and then I put it away for a bit because I knew I was slowing down, so I knew I was reaching my edge on it, and I don't like to get so far into something that I don't like doing it and don't pick it up for 6 months. Okay, next one is a new start. Apologies for the zippers, had to bring everything upstairs for filming. This one is a Bothy Threads kit, and it is called Yuletide. Just Yuletide. So it is one of the shoes from the shoe range. Now these kits come as a full kit with Madeira thread and usually 14 or 16 count white Aida. Now you can see from the image down here there's an awful lot of very pale grey, silvery colours, and all these flowers here are all very much pale colours. So laminated, I always laminate my charts when they're paper kits. So what I did was I swapped out the fabric, and I am using a fabric called Cairns can't say it, Sunday, my brain's not working. Cairns Birdwing Butterfly from Jodrell Designs. It was the fabric of the month in March 2022. Unfortunately Jodrell ceased trading now, so you can't get this fabric anymore. But it's a beautiful green, and I thought that looked pretty festive. I've still got my needle minders on here, so that tells you that I've been working on it. And that is where I've got to so far. Sorry for the creases, everybody. It's been in its project bag. So that is the top of the shoe. This bit up here. Have I made any changes so far? No changes yet. The thoughts are I'm going to change some of the pale greys. I might change them out for metallics. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably change some of the back stitching, the grey back stitching out for metallic grey. And if I do, it'll be treasure braid. It does come with gold metallic thread for parts of the boots. That will immediately be swapped out for treasure braid, because the metallic thread they give you in a Madeira kit, I don't want to be rude, it's horrible. It's on a par with DMC metallic threads. just rather spend the money and get a metallic that I can work with, not one that I'm going to argue with the entire time. So that is Bothy Threads Yuletide Shoe. Okay, next one is another new start. I think these are all new starts now because New Year, new start and all that. So that was my Boxing Day new start. I didn't have a Christmas Day new start because I wasn't at home. I went to a friend's house for Christmas, but we did go out for the day on Boxing Day and I had a Boxing Day new start. Okay, so this one is my New Year's Day new start and it is called Sycamore Gap from Bothy Threads. This was the one I wanted when it was released. Cross stitch cannot travel alone, so it came with its boot. Came with the boot. Also, that took me over the £30 to get free shipping from Lakeside Needlecraft. So that is what that one is called. It's got the Northern Lights at the top, and then the sycamore tree and some sheep and a little man here looking at the tree. Again, full kit. Comes with all its threads, all its Madeira threads. These are joined together when they arrive. I've just cut them in half just to make it a bit easier to get at the individual colours. So again, comes with 14 count white Aida, this one. But I didn't want to be able to see the white through the stitching. So what I've done is I've switched it out for another Jodrell Designs fabric. This one is called, oh no, I apologise. It's Chromatic Alchemy and it is just 28 count linen, opal linen. So we have stitched this and that's how far I've got so far. You won't be able to see the fabric when it's done. It is going to be full coverage. However, it's not going to be white behind. You're not going to see that white fabric poking through the stitches where there's gaps, because it is essentially 14 count. So you do get a bit of showing of gaps. That is the full width across the design when it's done, and it'll basically be the same again high because it's virtually square. So I haven't started on the sky yet. I figured I'd do the green bit first because that was the bit that was going to bore me to tears. This is the start of the first sheet, and that's how far I got before I got fed up. Don't ask me how many stitches that is. I have not got the foggiest. Because it's a paper chart and I'm not really into stitch counting anyway. Even with Pattern Keeper, I don't really keep track. But at least with Pattern Keeper I can give you a percentage if I've noted it down before I film. So that is Sycamore Gap. I know that the chart as a whole is about 20,000 stitches, so that gives you an idea how big it is. So yeah, I was really enjoying that one, but like all good things and my ability to retain focus on things, I got fed up and wanted to move on. Okay, so I had another new start. This one was a new start for the retreat in March at the Yorkshire Retreat, and it is called Northern Lights. It's an Etsy pattern. It comes out as a circle and it is exactly what it says on the tin. It's mountains in silhouette with a lake in front and the northern lights in the sky and reflecting into the water. And this is how far I've got. Now I've picked a green fabric for this. Again, it is full coverage on the circle. So we're just going to see how it looks. Now, I won't deny it. That's upside down. Be a good start. I won't deny it. There's a couple of the greens on here that are virtually the same colour as the fabric, but there is an awful lot of 939 and it goes almost all the way around the circle. So it won't be a problem, I don't think, when it's finished. And that was basically a weekend's work. I finished half a dozen of the colours because I'm stitching colour by colour at one point. So that's where we're at with that one. The colour palette is, again, it's all DMC. I ignore the red because that was just one I purchased at the time and I've just not put it away yet. And that is the colour palette we're at, where you can see it's all very sort of tropical and blues and greens and things. So we'll see how that one pans out. Again, this one is on Pattern Keeper because it was an Etsy pattern. And it's about 13,500 stitches, I think. So we'll just see how that develops over the next few weeks. Again, this one's on the Q-snap because this is active at the moment and I have been working on this not every night, but certainly 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, where are we at to? Okay, next one's not a new start. It's one I started at a retreat in October 2023. So you will have seen this in the whip parade I did in December. It is a Janlynn kit called Lighthouse, I think. Lighthouses. That's what it looks like when it's done. Again, it came as a kit, came with the fabric, came with 16 count Ada. It's a very old kit. I've had this at least 10 years. I swapped it out for 32 count opal even weave, and I re-kitted it in DMC because the threads didn't seem to have survived very well. They were all there. I just got the impression they'd kind of been they'd gone a bit crackly, and I wasn't sure they were going to hold up. So that's how far I've got so far. That is the top. So this is all sky, and then you can see here there's a notch here where the first lighthouse comes in, and then the second lighthouse. I've actually started it because it's got some white on it. I'm forgetting how much I hate stitching white on white, but there you go. So again, it is opalescent fabric. It will sparkle just a little bit. This is a very, very heavily stitched, but not completely full coverage pattern. Again, enjoying it, but it is a paper pattern. So I'm just sort of, I do a little bit and then I put it away, do a little bit more, put it away. Getting into the twiddly bits now with starting to put the lighthouses on. It went quite quickly when it was just stitching backwards and forwards in different shades of blue. And that is as wide as it gets. It's only 6 inches wide, but it's a good 20 inches tall, so it's going to be fun to frame, that one. Not going to deny that this video is going to be mostly about stash. I haven't shown you any stash for a while. Haven't been buying a huge amount in the grand scheme of things, but I do have some subscriptions running, and those keep coming whether I remember about them or not. I just seem to get an invoice through PayPal, I pay it without really thinking about it, and a few weeks later something appears through the post. It's lovely. But am I consciously shopping? Not excessively so. One thing I did purchase recently was Lady of Mystery from Mirabilia. This is MD152, so she's not an old one. She is available quite readily. The bead packs have got Magnifica beads in, so it is worth ordering the bead pack because otherwise you're going to struggle to find all the beads. I ordered this from Zarina at Hawkins Hobbies, and I basically ordered the kit, the threads and the beads, no fabric, because I'm not keen on this called for brown Zygarde fabric. Have I decided what fabric I'm going to stick it on yet? Not in the slightest. For those that are interested in starting this, officially we started it in January. I haven't. For my friend Stitching Poppy's birthday, I won't say how old she was, I forgot to take it with me to the birthday retreat that we all went on in Southampton here in England, but I do have it now. So Claire, I'm going to start it, I promise. Next time I film I will have started it. However, it might not be pink. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm thinking purple, because, you know, purple. Okay, what else have I been shopping? I have a subscription for, don't mind me, that's my car tags. I have a subscription for Silks For You, which is an Australian silks company, and this comes every month, and I get the colour of the month, which is 4 15-metre skeins from their shoppable range. So although some of them are new colours, in theory you can message her and say, I want another one of those, I'd like a full hank please of such and such a colour code. So that is the first. I don't know what months these all came, by the way, they've just been piling up waiting for me to show you. So that is one round, and that is CM15, PR115, PR195, which is kind of a mauve colour. So these are very autumnal tones. I suspect this came last winter. And then PR149 is a gold. It's a bit washed out there. It's a bit deeper in person. So oranges and golds for that particular set of quite fall colours. And do I use them a lot? I don't use them as much as I should. You know, I should be subbing out a lot more for these. It's difficult because you let it build up for a while. They come in a little envelope like this. She used to ship them individually from Australia, and it all got a bit much. So now she ships a big batch from Australia to the UK. I assume she does something similar to the US, and then she's got somebody in the UK that's forwarding everything on to the individuals, which is fine by me because I get it a lot quicker. Okay, this is another month. So we've got greens this time. So a darker green, a very light pale green, and then an orangey blended colour, and sort of gold, another gold, brown and gold. So the green is PR136, CM004, PR157 for the variegated one, and PR059 for the gold. Do I have duplicates now? I think so. I've been in this club for about 4 years now. I think the duplicates are finally starting to come through. But at the same time, in 4 years, I've had very, very, very few duplicates. So it's definitely not a club where you sign up and you get half a dozen colours and then they start going round again. Do I like every colour that arrives? No. So the next one is a very purple based one. That's a proper royal purple. That's PR084. PR082. Blue, orange, green. That's like, it's almost a helter-skelter. CM017. So when they labelled CM, that means they've colour matched. So she's colour matched to the set. And then PR077 again is a highly variegated colour. These are quite substitutable for Glorianas if you're into chatelaine stitching. I do have 4, possibly 5 chatelaines on the go. I'm not getting them out today. I haven't stitched any of them. However, in England the clocks go forward on Easter Sunday morning, and that is the signal for my chatelaines to come back out of storage. So I stitch on them in the summer as a rule, over the winter, because the light's just not good enough in the winter to deal with the variegated threads and things like that. I pull out projects that are easier to see. I do have daylight lamp, but at the same time they're also quite big, and it's all about space. Okay, I also have a fabric subscription with Kate at Sparkly's, again here in the UK. She issues her fabric 6 times a year. You get your invoice, mine came at the start of March, and you'll get that fabric at the end of April, and then so on and so forth through the year. So only a couple of bits to show you. I'm going to apologise profusely. I don't think I've got them all actually. They're very crackly. They come in biodegradable wrappings. So this is from last summer, and it's a grey. It's beautiful actually. Still haven't decided what I'm putting on it. I will say the Northern Lights nearly went on this, but at the last minute I changed my mind. So that's a grey. Fabric of the month, August. Sometimes they go into the saleable racks. It just stays. It tends to be like a year or so later they end up in the standard catalogue. And then this is the most recent one, January and February 2024. It's purple and pink. And I get 32 count opal linen. I get a fat quarter. And I think I pay £22 now for it. That includes shipping in the UK. Obviously shipping outside the UK will be more. Okay, those are my 2 ongoing subscriptions, and they just, I think about cancelling them periodically. And then last year I did, when money was very tight. I came very close to cancelling them. Unfortunately, my fear of missing out meant that I just found a way to make the payments. I did not want to lose out on the subscriptions, but what I didn't do was take any extras. And I think when Kate went from monthly to bi-monthly, I was like, okay, I can afford that. I can afford £22 every other month. I can manage that. So things are a little better this year. So I signed up to a new subscription. It's not cross stitch, it's yarn. And it's from a company called Bothy and the Squid, which is here in the UK. It's a lovely lady. And this year's theme, so she does a theme for 12 months, and you essentially sign up to buy 12 months worth of yarn. And so this is January's. I haven't got March's yet because my subscription is at the end of the month. My understanding is that the way it works officially, I wasn't sure if I could afford it, and it's £28 a month, including shipping. It's more again if you're in Europe and in the US. I wanted to make sure I could afford it, so I actually subscribed to January at the end of January. And the way it works is if you sign up and subscribe, she takes money that day, that's that month's subscription, and then she takes it on the same day each month until the end of the year. And then once you've paid, you get your yarn, obviously. If you're at the beginning of the month and you pay in sort of the first 10 days, you get your yarn in the middle of the month. If you're later, she's already dyed it, it just comes. So the first month, this year's inspiration is frogs. So January, is inspired by the tiger striped leaf frog. Now, none of these frogs I suspect I'm going to have heard of. They're all going to be very exotic, I suspect. But this is month number 1. How fab is that? And now I have gone for the 75% merino, 25% nylon superwash sock weight yarn, because you get more. You get 420 meters. You still get 100 grams. She does do it in double knit as well. But that is yarn number 1, and I also got a Diddy little cute stitch marker with a red crystal on the bottom. So I thought that was quite cute. But that is quite a hefty skein. That was January. Let's say I haven't had March yet. That will come at the very end of the month, and with Easter being at the end of March, it will probably come in the first week of April, and that's fine. So January was very red. February was inspired by tomato frogs, and I got a little gift of a keyring with a frog on it playing a guitar, so that was quite cute. And this is the yarn, tomato coloured. It's got speckles on it. It's quite a deep orange with speckles of brown, so that's quite cool. So I'm kind of hoping, if I hold them up next to each other, I'm kind of hoping by the end of the year, it's supposed to be a rainbow of frogs. By the end of the year we're going to have a gradient, I think. So I'm not going to use them yet. I'm going to put them away, see what the whole year looks like. I've said it before, said it again. One day I'll be able to retire, although the way we're going in this country is never. But I know that when I do, I won't be able to buy a stash like this. I'll have my home, but I won't be able to shop for England like I do sometimes. So I don't have a problem spending money now when I've got spare money. So this came up, and I was like, do I just want 1, or do I want 2? You can make a whole shawl with 2. So 2 came home. And the colour for this one is called Glacier. It is again sock weight yarn, superwash merino, 400 meters approximately, and it is grey, blue grey, and white. Not sure how it's going to knit up yet. I haven't got the faintest idea what I'm going to do with it. I suspect my brain is going towards another beaded shawl, but I'm going to worry about that another day. For reference, that was £23 per skein plus shipping. But I just was like, I don't see the point of buying just 1. I may as well buy 2. I thought about buying 2 for the subscription, for the yarn subscription, but I just couldn't justify it. That was a stretch too far. And it came with a little gift. It came with a teapot or a coffee pot stitch marker. So that's not bad really, is it? £46. Whole shawl. Will I do another beaded shawl? I don't know. It nearly broke me, but then I suppose I wouldn't be working to a deadline next time, so that helps as well. I think the stress of working to the deadline, because I wanted to wear it to the wedding, probably made it harder. And that is everything for me. Life is good. Summer is coming, which always makes me feel better. And hopefully I will be back in 3 or 4 weeks with another video. I am going to an event called Wonder Wool, there you go, and it is at the Royal Welsh Showground in South Wales, and that is on the 27th, 28th of April. There is a group of 10 of us going, so God only knows what's going to happen. I do know it's probably going to be an expensive weekend, and I've budgeted for that, so that's fine. I promise I won't come back with another spinning wheel. I might come back with another spinning wheel at the beginning of April. I've been offered the purchase of a Shetland wheel for a very good price. So that is definitely on the cards. Don't be surprised. My Ashford that I bought for my birthday is officially been named now Matilda. So that's positive. She's a member of the family now. She is spinning well. I didn't bring my yarn babies to show you. They are around somewhere, but I have successfully made yarn. So I will take that as a win. Again, is it a hobby I'm going to obsessively do in the next however many years? Probably not. but at the same time, it's an investment for the future. One thing that doesn't go out of fashion is crafting. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I will see you all soon, and feel free to nag me if you want videos more quickly, because this video has come out because I'm finally feeling a bit better, but also because my lovely friend Mavis was asking last weekend, where are your videos? So this one is dedicated to you, Mavis. Thank you.